Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, there we go. Now it's going. I was like, wait a minute, is it going? And all of a sudden, the thing started going. Welcome, good evening. I hope everybody's doing well. It is Friday. Just a miserable, miserable day here today at the homestead. Not fun at all. Not fun at all. So, all right. So, before we get started, I just want to remind everybody again if we have any interruptions in the stream, I will get back as soon as I possibly can. So, who hit the thumbs down already? Oh, I have 80K, man. I have dedicated people. They're very loyal. The people that hate are very very loyal. So it's always fun. But anyway, so again, if there's any interruptions in the stream, I will get right back on as soon as I possibly can. So please just be patient, bear with me, and you may not get a notification because that also happens as well. So just like I said again, bear with me, and we will. Bryce says, "How much snow did you get?" We literally got a. It was a wet, heavy snow, so it really didn't. It's already all gone. It's already all melted off. But it's been low 30s, and I should say low 30s, mid 30s all day. So just one of those kind of days, and it's just a drizzly, wet, cold rain. And so we've had a fire going in our house all day, or here in my house all day, and Mom and Beck have had a fire going in their place all day as well. So just that kind of day. I brought wood in for them. I brought wood in for me, and it's like the next several days are supposed to be just unpleasant. So it's unfortunate. It happens. We got really really spoiled with a really really mild end of March and the first part of April here. So you get outside and you get going, and it's just like yeah, it's awesome. And then the weather says, oh yeah, wait a minute, I got something for you. So I do also want to remind everybody really quickly that this is a very family friendly oriented channel. So I would ask everybody to please be decent in the chat. No racism, no nastiness, anything like that. And again, just that's just be decent. All right, so I want to do an update of something really really quickly. Bizariza Jizza, my buddy Brian, I have not been able to get a hold of him. So I called, his phone went right to voicemail. I shot him a text. Have heard nothing. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he got hurt or if he's in the hospital or something. I have no idea, but I have not heard from him at all. So I'm hoping that I do hear something from him. I'm going to try to reach out again this weekend and see if I can get a hold of him. So I don't know what's going on with him. So just wanted to give you guys that information right up front. Couple things I wanted to address really quickly, and I wanted to talk about this one first before I get rolling and forget. Okay, and I won't say the last name, but to my PayPal account, that the donate button, her name is Lisa. She made a donation, and she said certain instructions on there. Make sure you buy beer for Mom, and so that she has a cold one because she's earned it. So I absolutely will do that, Lisa. Thank you very much for that donation. Very, very nice of you, and very much appreciated. So yeah, mom will get it. See, I have to buy it now when I buy beer, guys. Just so you know, I got to buy it in a 30-pack because Mom likes her beer, especially when we have a hot day and we're outside working. She'll have a couple of beers. So nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that at all. So another thing I wanted to address, because we haven't even got on topic yet. We're almost 4 minutes in, of course, and we're going to be talking about the mindset today, right? So we will definitely get into that shortly. I had somebody in the comments said, will you stay on topic tonight? So I'm just going to be 100% honest because that's what I do. Probably not. We will talk about the topic of the video, but we always get into many other topics as well. And so we will definitely be talking about many different things this evening. I'm not going to talk about the mindset for an hour and 20 minutes. That's just not realistic. And, people have questions. And so I try to address what I can address. So I always thought that was funny. Are you going to stay on topic? Do I ever stay on topic? No. So, you got to know that going in. So, that's just how it goes. We get going, and I'll go off on a rant about this, that, or the other thing. And I got a couple of them. Hey, Matthew Drake. Thank you for everything. I had been worried about Busy Jizza. Have not heard from him as well. He's been silent on all social media as well. Yeah, that's not. I mean, and that's not like him. And he normally gets back to me if I reach out. So, and the thing that was for me that I found probably more concerning than anything else, because when I called in the live stream, so it was 8 o'clock at night on Wednesday. It went right to voicemail, which means the phone was turned off. So that's not a good sign. That's not a good sign at all. Thank you for your concern also, and thank you very much for that donation as well. So we will definitely be talking about what happened out west. I definitely want to address that, and we're gonna get into that. And I have questions about that. Okay, and we're gonna talk about that. There's not a tremendous amount of information out yet about that whole situation, but we're gonna talk about a couple different things. Okay, so we'll definitely get into that, and we'll discuss that as well. All right. He's in New York, JJ, just like I am. I mean, like I lived in Greece, New York. He lives in Greece, New York. That's where he's at. So he's not that far away from me. But so that's actually, we met through the channel, and he's like, "Yeah, I live in Greece." And so when we started talking, we figured out where he was at and where I was at. And at the time when we met, he was still with his ex-wife, and then he ended up getting divorced. And okay, now I don't know if you guys know this about him, but he used to be quite heavy. And I mean, when I say quite heavy, quite heavy. And he got himself in like just absolutely phenomenal shape. He really worked hard, going to the gym, got himself in great shape. So, like I said, unlike him to not be reaching out or, communicating back. So I don't know what's going on. I hope nothing serious. We will see. We'll find out. I don't know. But anyway, real quick, I want to make a quick shout out really quickly. I got a buddy of mine that just had surgery. Reese, you guys probably, actually, some of you know who Reese is because he is one of the moderators. He just had a hernia, and he had hernia surgery, and everything went well. And you think, well, hernia surgery, big deal. Well, he has a seizure disorder, and so he has issues with that. So everything that he has to deal with is exacerbated. So it went really, really well for him. And I just wanted to say, I'm, thinking about you. Actually, literally just hung up the phone with him because I was calling to check on him. But so he's doing very, very well. So I just wanted to do a quick shout out for him as well. So, all right, let's do this. Let's talk about the topic. We'll get that going, and then we'll definitely go off on our tangents of other things. There's so much going on, and I definitely want to address a bunch of different stuff tonight. Because the thing is, if I put certain things, Ed New War reported a 27-year-old resident doctor dies months after receiving the vax. Okay, how-to video just said that. Yeah, we're going to discuss that too. We'll get into that a little bit, and we'll discuss some things with that. I got to be very, very careful with that. So we will definitely do that as well. All right. So mindset. All right. With everything that has been going on, we have seen a rash of violence happening around the country. A huge uptick in crime. Huge uptick in crime. Many, many factors in that. Okay. The whole anti-police movement is part of it. All right. You have a tremendous amount of police officers that are good police officers leaving the job because they've just had enough. They've just had enough. And that's unfortunate because when you lose the good cops, the bad cops, a lot of times they're going to stay because they don't care. They don't care. So that's tough. But there is, you can't judge. It's just like, with any group, you can't judge the whole group by a few individuals in the group to do something bad. Now, I know they have the blue wall of silence. I know that's gone on. I'm going to explain something to you, and I hope you guys can really, it puts this into perspective, okay? I've been in nursing for a very, very long time, okay? And I'm going to tell you a story, and I'm going to tell you what happened as a result of the story and what I learned because of this. So when I was in my early 20s, I worked for the state of New York, taking care of mentally retarded people. Because I am a pretty physical guy, they put me in a group home with all behaviors. Okay, so we were doing takedowns constantly on this job, and it was a rough job. It was not an easy job. Now, when you start working for the state, you have to take a piss test. Okay, they never test you again, ever, ever. They don't ever test you again. Okay, unless there is now, and even then they don't, because I'll explain the story. So once I started working in this group home, I was one of two staff in the house that did not do drugs. Two staff, me and one other girl in the house, and I'm talking management on down in this house. Everybody was partying. Okay, now my personally, I don't care what you do on your own time. Knock yourself out. Have a great time. Don't do it at work. All right. So this particular Sunday, we would take the clients. We called them clients at that time. Now they change the name all the time, but back then it was clients. We took them to church. Okay. And so, it wasn't like they sat in the pews like everybody else. They had them back in a little separate room because they needed to. Okay. I'll just put it like this. This was not your, they didn't have normalish behavior by any stretch of the imagination. So, but they were also absolutely clueless on top of everything else. Okay. So we're on the way back, and I'm driving the van, and my coworker is in the passenger seat, and he's getting stoned. He's smoking pot in the passenger seat. And I'm like, really? I'm thinking to myself, really? You can't wait. You have to do it now while. And so what I did, because I felt at the time that it was the right thing to do, I went, not in anybody in my house, I went to the main building and I reported this situation. And this is what I said. I went to them. I said, listen, what he does on his own time, I could care less. But this, he shouldn't be smoking pot while he's working. Shouldn't be doing it. I'm sorry. You can't function properly. Dealing what we had to deal with in this household, your reaction time would be off in the whole 9 yards, right? So what happened was, I said to them, I said, listen, I will give me a piss test and give him a piss test. That's the simplest, easiest way you can determine if I'm telling the truth or not. So then what they said to me is, well, we want you to set him up. We want you to do a drug buy. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I don't do it. They know I don't do it. So why would I do that, right? So, of course, what happens with the state, if you're a rat and if you turn out to be a rat, guess what happens? Okay. So what happens is it gets back to the house that I've burnt this guy, right? He kept his job. Guess who lost their job? I learned a very, very valuable lesson from that experience, because they got rid of me. They made excuses. They lied on paperwork, and they got rid of me. All right. I learned a very valuable lesson from that experience. I don't see nothing. I don't hear nothing. I don't know nothing. Okay. And that's a sad way that you have to, snitches get stitches. Well, it's a sad way to go through life. But when you're out there in the workforce and in reality, you don't see nothing. And that's, that's just the way it goes. So, but, so yeah, it's just, you play Sergeant Sulch. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, after that, I knew nothing. I knew nothing about nothing. I never saw nothing anymore. I learned a lesson. Because you know what, doing the right thing and doing what you should do doesn't always correlate that things are going to work out the way that you think they are. So, but Ed, same in the prisons. That's the guards. Yeah. Prepper Patty, I am sure. So when we're talking about the blue code of silence, right? The blue wall of silence. So when a cop does something wrong or something bad, and it's been proven too, guys, just so you know, when a cop does something wrong, the other cops, they're mum. They don't see nothing. They don't know nothing. Okay. They may not agree with what that cop did, but they're going to shut up because they want to keep their job. And that's what happens. If you end up being a rat, you're the one that's targeted and you're gone. You ever watch the movie Serpico, guys? They tried to kill that dude. Okay. Because he wouldn't play ball and play along with the whole thing. So, and that's, and there's a lot of corruption. In anything, in any business out there, anything going on, there's always going to be a lot of corruption. So that's just something that I wanted to share with you, because I do think that that's important, and it's a point that I wanted to make. So people are like, oh, well, these cops, they all got each other's back. I don't care what business you're in. It's like that everywhere. And somebody just said with the prison guards, the same exact thing. It's the same exact thing in nursing. I'm going to tell you right now, you know, if you're a rat, you are not going to have your job long. So you learn to shut up, and this is the thing, you do the best you can do. You try to make sure things go the way that you hope that they do. And then if it doesn't, you just have to, turn a blind eye to it. I didn't see it. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what happened. And that's the way to do it, unfortunately, but that's how it is. So anyway, but let's talk about mindset. Okay, so actually, before we get into that, we're already at 746 in the chat. We're at 250 on a thumbs up, guys. I'm going to ask really quickly if you would shoot a thumbs up to show support for the channel, and thank you ahead of time for that. I do appreciate it, and it really also, it does help with the algorithms as well. So the more interaction that we have, the better it is for the channel. So I ask for a thumbs up for that reason as well, and thank you very much. But losing that job probably took you to a better one. It did, down the road. Absolutely, it did. I wanted to address that in a second as well. But again, also, I like to see a lot of thumbs up. So let's smash that like button and really jump that number up there. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell icon to get all notifications as well. See, the thing is now, with what I just told you, that story and how things go, okay, a lot of people won't tell you that. They won't tell you that. But I'm straight up, and I'm going to always tell you the truth, okay? Now, Randy Romine said, it probably led me to a better job. And it did. I got something better down the road, and it worked out perfectly and everything. And this is why I'm a big believer. And some people go, oh, no, that's not true. But I truly believe everything happens for a reason. Everything happens when it should. Hey, Versi Dorset, thank you very much for the donation. Thank you very much. Linda Buffaloer says Biden wants to pack the Supreme Court. We'll get into that too. We'll talk about that. You knew that was coming, by the way. And thank you very much for the donation too, by the way. You knew that was coming, trying to pack the Supreme Court. You knew they were going to try to do that. And I don't know if they're going to be able to do that or not, but we'll see what happens. But anyway, I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason. I'm a big believer in everything happens when it should. At the time when it happens, it may be devastating to you, and you may be thinking, oh my goodness, this is the end of the world as I know it. But when you look back at things, you realize, man, that was a blessing in disguise. And I'm going to give you another great example of that, okay? When I was with my ex-wife for 11 years, okay? We were married almost 10 years when she left. And at the time when she left, it was very devastating. I actually lost 20 pounds in 21 days. Couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. It was brutal. It was brutal. I'll be 100% honest with you. It took me a long time to get over that whole situation. But looking back now, years later, the best thing my ex-wife ever did for me was leave. So, again, at the time it happens, it may be a devastating event, but when you look back at it later on, you realize, man, that was a blessing in disguise. So, so anyway, my mindset is shot. How's yours? RV Source says it. So let's get into mindset. Let's talk about that a little bit, because otherwise I'm going to get yelled at because you didn't even talk about mindset. Your mindset is so important with everything that is going on. There's so much craziness going on right now. There's so much crime going on. We're being inundated with the media. They are pushing, their agenda. They're trying to distract us. Everything is it's insanity. And I think it is so important to keep focused on what is important. Keep your mind sharp. Keep your mind engaged. And so what do I mean by that? With the isolation that they're doing with people, and you look at the increased number of suicides, you look at the people that are flipping out and going postal, if you will. And it's a terrible term because the post office people probably don't like that term very much. But when people snap and they go off and they do something extreme and they hurt a whole bunch of people, a lot of times that's built up over time. And here's the thing with that: there's always warning signs. Always warning signs. People start talking, about harming others, or that they're angry, at this or that, and just not normal. It's normal to be angry, and it's normal to be upset over whatever events are going on. But when you can't let things go and you have a hatred, hatred is a horrible, horrible thing. It'll eat you alive. And so having the proper mindset to deal with these type of stuff is really, really important. Keeping yourself engaged, keeping your mind active, keeping your mind sharp, reading books, watching documentaries, engaging in things that keep you active. I mean, if you can't physically be around people, Zoom chat, or however, Skype, or whatever medium you're using, you can have conversations with people. And if you don't want to just have conversations with like-minded people, have some good conversations with people that you can debate with, which would be healthy. Okay. um, but those are important things. Getting your proper rest, which I don't always get proper rest, and it happens, but I try. Last night I was literally up. I was up till 5 o'clock this morning, and then I was up at 7:30. So it was a long day, and I did a couple of cat naps, but it's not like sleeping 6 hours straight. I think in the last probably 2 months, I've had one day where I actually slept 6 hours straight. It happens when you have, like with Hella being a puppy. Every 3 hours she was looking to go outside or whatever. Now she's getting better now because she's getting bigger, and so she's going longer through the night, which is really, really helpful. So I'm getting better sleep. But when you have nights that you just can't sleep, what are you going to do? I mean, I went to bed. It wasn't like I wasn't in bed. I went to bed. After you lay in bed for about an hour and you're wide awake, it's like, well, I might as well just go ahead and get up. So, but those things, getting proper rest is really important for your mindset. Not overdoing things. Don't get overwhelmed. Keep focused on things. And I should talk about focus because I'm all over the place. But that's probably because I'm a Gemini. So that's my excuse anyway. But yeah, it's just it's we have to realize, and I think this is a big part of your mindset. You have to realize how little we really have control over. Realistically, there's not a whole lot that we have a lot of control over. Except for ourselves. For we have control over our own actions, how we engage people, how we interact with people. I mean, and I know I've talked about this before, but if you're an a-hole constantly to everybody, nobody wants to be around you. They don't want to be around you. But if you, try to be decent and try to be a good person, you're going to draw that positive energy to you. When you're negative all the time, you draw that negative energy to you. And when you're negative constantly, it beats you down. And I always love to give you good examples because it's like I've had a very, very interesting life. Okay, my first wife was Sicilian. Now, anybody out there that is either Italian or Sicilian, okay, there's a huge difference. Okay, there is a huge difference between being Italian and Sicilian, night and day. Okay, absolutely night and day. Well, my first wife was Sicilian, and she wanted me all for herself. She didn't want me to be around my friends. She didn't want me to be around my family. She tried to isolate me in that way, and so she was like, if anybody came over, she would act like a complete jerk. I'm going to use that term because that's not what she acted like, but that's what she acted like. And when you're around that all the time, and you get beat down, you really do. You get beat down, and you just kind of just give up in a way. And it got to a point where I realized that negativity, that constant negativity, was making me be more of a negative person, and I don't like that because that's just not me. And so when I mean, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't really talked a lot about my first wife. She's passed away now, but she was, I left her, oh my God. at least 8 times. Left her at least 8 times, if not more. And I don't remember exactly, but it was at least 8. And she would always suck me back in. Now, I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. You're in a toxic, bad relationship and they suck you back in. It's going to be better. It's going to be different. I promise I won't act like that anymore. I mean, I could tell you the stories, guys. I mean, but what happens is things will be great for about 6 weeks, right? In that type of relationship. And after about 6 weeks, they get comfortable again and they go right back to what they've always done. And nothing changes. It really doesn't. And so you hope that things are going to be better. You hope things are going to change. So you go back with that attitude and then it just goes right back to it. And I know that, like, when I finally left for the last time, and I knew when I left for the last time, I knew I was never going back. Um, and it was weird because so I left, and my sister had a house in the city on McNaughton Street. If any of you guys know Rochester at all, and she had a house over there, and so I stayed with her for like 2 days. I went over to an apartment complex. I made my deposit, got my keys, and they were like, "Yeah, you can move in." Or actually, I was going to get my keys in like 2 days, so I had all my stuff in storage, and so 2 days later, we had this huge snowstorm where we literally got dumped with like 23, 24 inches of snow. I mean, it was brutal. And so I had to go over to the apartment complex. I got my keys and I could get into my apartment. I couldn't get into the storage unit to get all my stuff out of the storage unit. So like I had a couch, and some stuff like that, but I didn't have a lot of stuff. But I literally spent the first 2 weeks of living in that apartment. I had a sleeping bag and I was sleeping on the floor in the bedroom because I didn't even have a bed. I left her to bed and everything. So, I had to go and get all that and stuff. But I can honestly tell you, when I finally made that decision to get out of that toxicity, and when I got into my apartment, probably I would say it was 6 to 8 weeks, I was on a euphoric high. I mean, literally a euphoric high, because I said, no one is ever yelling and screaming at me again. I don't ever have to deal with that nonsense again. Being called all kinds of filthy names and everything else, and it was a wonderful, wonderful feeling. And so, any of you out there that are watching this, that are dealing with that type of situation, I know it's tough and I know it's hard to get away from those type of relationships. But if you can do it, I'm going to tell you what, your life is going to be better. And if you're staying for the kids, and that was one of the things with my second marriage, I didn't want my kids to go through what I went through by being from a broken home and stuff like that. So I stayed in that relationship. I never would have left her. I'll be 100% honest with you. I never would have left her because I just didn't want that for my kids. But looking back, with it affects the kids. So if you're in that toxic relationship and you're thinking, well, I'm going to stay because he's the father of my children or she's the mother of my children, whatever the case may be, it's affecting the kids. You guys fighting all the time is going to affect your children. So that's not a positive thing. That's not a good thing. It's not a good state for them to be in. So, with making the move, and it's tough and it's hard and it's not easy, you do what you have to do. Okay. Because down the road, better things are going to come of it. And you get out of that type of relationship and you'll look back and you'll be like, man, I am just like so grateful. And, that's, I don't know. It's just, maybe I share too much of my own information, but it's life experience and you see things. I had a discussion with a young man today, and he's going through some stuff. And, it's like being able to share information and to talk about my own personal experiences and what I've gone through and what I've seen, and to be able to help somebody, because when you're in it, I'm telling you right now, when you're in it, you don't think about it. Yeah, don't fall. Yep, how-to video says, Ed, don't fall for promises. Actions speak louder than words. Yes, they do. But when they put the show on and they're convincing you that it's going to be better, and then you go back, and then it's better for that 6-week period of time, that honeymoon period, if you will. Yeah, it just toxicity is it's it will beat you down and it'll wear you out, and it's not good for you at all. It's not good for you at all. Frankie Pritt said that's why I stopped dating 12 years ago. Or Frank Pritt, I'm sorry. Yeah. You know what, Frank? Um, it's hard. It's hard. I'll be honest. Me and my ex have been apart for 10 years now. You know, and I've had a couple of girlfriends and stuff like that, and I'm open to dating, obviously. But it's just it's very very hard. Because of everything that I've been through, I'm really super selective. I'll be honest with you, and it's really hard to trust, and it's hard to let yourself open up and stuff like that. But you know, I don't know. It's but you know, we'll see what you know. That's the way I look at it. It'll happen. Who knows what's going to happen? 80K man says my wife won't let me date anymore. Well, that's very selfish of her, 80K man. I mean, you know, that's not being open-minded at all. So, so, how-to video said YouTube banned the Colbert Report after 14 years, 570,000 subs, and 92 million views. Wow. Yeah, there is a lot of that going on. Oh, I don't know if you guys knew this or not, and I just actually just noticed it the other day. I just crossed over 20 million views on the channel. I'm at like 20,200,000 views now. So I'm just like, holy crap. It's that's just amazing to think about that I'm at that point where I've had 20 million views on the channel. It is pretty wild. It is pretty wild. So Jen Boyle said, 80K man, your wife and I should talk. That's funny. That's funny. But Tennessee Gales are nice. Okay, there you go. Well, actually, I'll be honest with you guys right now. I am absolutely leaning towards West Virginia. I'm absolutely leaning towards West Virginia, especially, and I think I may have mentioned this in the last stream. I've had like 3 or 4 people actually already send me the information of, you know, that if you move to West Virginia and you work remotely from home, which I do, the state will give you 12 grand. So I'm like, that's a pretty powerful reason to say, hey, you know what? That's not a bad. And West Virginia is not as populated as Tennessee or Kentucky. And you know, there is, you know, there's a, it's. I'm looking forward to going on this trip with Heather. I'm still going to look in Tennessee and I'm still going to look in Kentucky. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to still do both of those things as well. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what's available. I know I'm looking at land prices, and there you can pick up quite a bit of land in West Virginia fairly cheap. And you know, I just that's kind of a motivating factor as well. Because I originally, if you guys knew, I was talking maybe 5, maybe 10 acres. But when you can pick up a good piece of land for not a huge amount of money, that's a huge incentive. That's a huge incentive. So, hey, Jeff Emery, for the garden and the greenhouse. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate that. Actually, I know we had snow today, as you guys know. The weather was very, very bad here today. So I just went out this evening and I looked in the greenhouse. The greenhouse was at about 46 degrees. The plants all looked really good. So that's, you know, they're holding up pretty well. So that's a good thing. It's definitely with the layers of plastic, it's definitely keeps it warmer. The other day, I just want to, when I showed you guys the temperature, it was 110 in the greenhouse. I had no windows open, so nothing was being vented out. It was just because it was actually a cooler day, but it was really, really hot in that greenhouse. So, Ed, if you move to West Virginia, you can have whatever broomstick you want. Yes. Yep, Billy the cab driver, you are correct. And that, you know, and obviously that's part of the factor in it as well. So, like I said, I just, you know, we'll see what happens. You know, I definitely, the more I contemplate things, we've done so much work here and we put so much money into this place. You know, I most likely will keep this place unless, you know, unless I find something so awesome and I want to do it and I want to do it now. You know, I'm going to definitely be buying a piece of property. That's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. When I make a permanent move full time to be down there, I don't know yet. I do know this: if I do buy a piece of property down there soon, when this winter comes here in the, you know, November, December, I'm out of here for the winter, and I'll be down on that property for the winter. Absolutely 100%. I have no intention of being here when the weather is complete dog crap. So, guys, we're at 865 in the chat. We're at 411 on a thumbs up. I'm going to ask you again, if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. And I thank you ahead of time for doing that. Again, it really does help with the algorithms. So the more interaction that we have, the better it is for the channel. So that's another reason that I ask you to please do that, with the thumbs up. The third reason, of course, I like to see a lot of thumbs up, being honest. And then also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. Real quick, I want to mention my website. I know I talked about my website. I don't have a sale going on right now, so I'm not talking about a sale. But I just wanted to mention, I do have the Legacy freeze-dried food is available if you're interested there. Also, if you go to my website, prepnurse1.com, you'll see the Forefathers, which is the CBD and hemp store. And their logo, you'll see that if you click on their logo, it will take you to their store. If you decide to purchase a CBD or hemp product, you can absolutely save 15% by using the discount code PrepperNurse1 on their website. So definitely take advantage of that as well, okay? And 15% always helps, okay? And that's not going to change for that. I'm always going to keep that discount there for you guys, just because I think it's kind of important, okay? Also, we have the Prepper Nurse One community also, which is free to join. It's a nice way to connect with like-minded people. You do have to register, but there's no credit card information or anything like that asked because it is private. But you do register. If you register, then you get in there and you can read the message boards and all that type of stuff and check that out as well. So definitely take advantage of that too. And again, if you want the Legacy, you go to my website, prepnurse1.com. You click on store. It'll drop down. It'll say Legacy Foods. You go down there. You click on that. It'll take you to the store. What we have available is there. And there's going to be some changes with that too. Just so you guys know, moving forward, I'm going to be doing some interesting stuff. And I'll let you guys all know when we get that going. But so anyway, so CNN director admits our focus was to get Trump out of office. How-to videos just said that. Well, that's a no-brainer. That's what all their focus was. I personally believe the whole shutdown of the country was to destroy our economy, to make him look bad. That's just my opinion. Okay, being a fan of Trump or not being a fan of Trump don't make any difference. They destroyed the economy, and made things a whole lot worse. And just because of the hatred they have for an individual. So I don't see anything positive in that. And now look what we got. So we're in a world of crap. The other governments around the world are basically laughing at us because of who we have. We have an incompetent president that can't even put a sentence out there without babbling. I mean, it's interesting to watch his speeches because you never know what he's going to say, because neither does he. But all right, so Bryce said, how is the underground network working out? I still have a bunch of people to contact. I will be doing that, so you guys know. That's not going away. Haven't forgot about that. I just had a few other things that I did have to take care of. But here in Ontario, Canada, we are now at a stay-at-home order for 2 more weeks. And so, okay, Mary, I'm sorry to hear that you guys got to do that. Let's talk about the psychological effects of that, your mindset, okay? When you don't have any hobbies or things to keep you occupied, if you don't have things that you enjoy doing, it can be really, really monotonous, and it can drive you mentally bonkers, realistically, to be in that situation, to be isolation. We are not creatures that are meant to be isolated. We're just not. We're social creatures. And so when you isolate people and you put them in environments, and I want you to think about this again, we were talking about toxic environments earlier. When you have people that are in abusive relationships, or if you're a child and you're in a family and you have either one or both of your parents are abusing you, going to school, getting out of the house, going out to play, doing other things, those are your escapes, okay? When you are in a lockdown, you cannot escape. You are stuck in that environment. Alcoholism rise is up a ton. Drug abuse is up a ton. Domestic violence is up a ton. And again, the suicide rate is up a ton because people are depressed, they're unhappy, they're in these situations where they don't feel that they can escape from. And when you're locked down and you can't go anywhere, you're not allowed to go anywhere, you know, what are you going to do? So you're stuck, or you feel like you're stuck. And, those are never a good thing. So it's a really, really bad situation. And unfortunately, you have a lot of people dealing with it. JJ said the DOD have confirmed an actual UFO alien in the ship was flipping off Earth footage at 9 p.m. Now, it was, I saw that they had said it was like a pyramid type of craft that they saw. And it was definitely a craft. So, I'm going to tell you what, it would not shock me. And I'm gonna snowball here, guys. You can either agree or disagree. It doesn't matter. I'm not trying to win anybody over by saying this. This is just my thought process on it. Okay, it would not shock me, and I absolutely do believe in extraterrestrials. I'll be the first to say that. If you agree with that or don't agree with that, that's fine too. It doesn't make any difference. Doesn't make me right and you wrong. Okay, but I believe that we've been observed for a long time, and they've been watching us. And I think that if we get to a point where we're reaching a situation which would be really, truly detrimental, I think that they would step in and say, because they're obviously of a more intelligent, beings with advanced technology. I don't know if you've ever seen, there was a video and they were launching a rocket, and the video footage shows the ship come in, a laser hit the top of the rocket, and then the rocket blew up. There's actual footage of that. Now, of course, they've always wanted to dismiss those type of things as not true and it's not real and all this type of stuff. But I'm going to tell you what, I absolutely believe that there's other intelligent life forms out there. I think it's really arrogant of us as human beings to think that we're the only ones in the entire universe that is an intelligent life. So, I truly believe there's other beings out there. And, just from my own observations, I have seen UFOs, especially, being out at night and being in the night sky and seeing different things that absolutely should not be happening up there happening. My mom, when she was a child, she actually saw, UFO three flying saucers when she was a child. They were at a swimming hole, and it was her brother, and somebody else, and they were walking back, and they saw these UFOs, and it scared the crap out of them. And it was disc-shaped objects in the sky. So, and this is going back way back. So, but yeah, it's again, if you believe or don't believe, that's okay. I'm not telling you that you have to believe or don't. There's no right or wrong. Okay, so I'm just giving you my opinion, what I believe, and it's I truly believe that there are definitely other beings out there, and we're not the only ones. And and it wouldn't shock me if we got too stupid down here that they came in and interceded. That wouldn't shock me at all. So and I think the governments around the world know about them. They've recovered crafts, obviously. You go back to Roswell. That was absolutely proven that So again, who knows? Time will tell. Again, is that out of our hands and out of our control? Absolutely. We don't have any control over any of that. And they keep us under wraps and keep us in the dark because they know how people react. If actually people all of a sudden realize, holy crap, there's these advanced beings that can basically do whatever they want to do with us. It scares the crap out of people, so. But and do some of them have bad intentions and some have good intentions? I think just like human beings, absolutely. So I don't think every alien out there is going to be like, oh hey, come and give me a hug. They're not gonna. Some of them are gonna do Close Encounters of a Third Kind. I mean, if you guys saw the movie, there was the movie about the lady up in Alaska there, The Fourth Kind, I think the movie was called, which was alien abduction. And there's and I want you guys to look this up. Okay, because this is a fact. This is not speculation. This is not anything that I'm making up. There's a town in Alaska that has had more investigations by like the FBI and those type of agencies over alien visitation than any other town ever in the rest of Alaska. And I can't remember the name of the town, but if you watch the movie The Fourth Kind, it talks about that in that movie. And the part of it that I thought was amazing in that movie, when the person was like in a trance like state, they were talking and people didn't know what they were saying, right? So they went back and they had a translator, ancient a translator figure out what they were talking, what language they were speaking. And here's the thing that I think would probably amaze most of the people out here. Nome. Yep. Okay. Thank you guys. Nome, Alaska. Thank you. The person was speaking ancient Sumerian. Now, how anybody would know how to speak ancient Sumerian is beyond me. Okay. So obviously there's something to it. And if you go back and you look at ancient Sumerian, the history and alien visitation and all that, that's all wrapped up in all of that. So, like I said, again, to each their own. You can think whatever you want, but yeah, that's definitely something that I think is real, and I think it's quite interesting. But I find it fascinating, and no, I'm not afraid of aliens. So I would be like, all right, I'll check it out. I'll go on the ship. Hopefully they don't probe me. That would be bad. No probing. Like poor Cartman got probed. If you've ever seen the cartoon, hilarious. But yeah. So anyway, but anyhow, um, situation in Indianapolis. Let's talk about that for a moment. You had a young man, 19 years old, had been reported to the police a year earlier by his mother. The FBI interviewed the kid. They took away his shotgun. And oh yeah, I love South Park too. South Park's so funny. I mean, so politically incorrect. It's great. Love South Park. So, and again, it's funny. So, but but anyway, he was taken into custody, mental hygiene arrest. They, eventually had to let this kid go. They kept the shotgun that they had taken from him. He was the one that did this shooting yesterday or last night in Indianapolis, and it just horrible situation again. And then of course he kills himself, right? And my this is the thing that I will never understand. If life sucks so bad and you don't want to be part of the game plan anymore, go off in the woods and off yourself, realistically, because guess what? I don't care. But when you take innocent people and you hurt innocent people, and he was a former employee, so I'm sure there was some bitterness, you know. I'm going to tell you what, I mean, anybody that has ever been, fired from a job or wrongly terminated from a job, you're bitter, you're pissed off, and it's understandable. But you don't go back and just start shooting the place up. You know, I mean, that's a whole different level. But there's some very, very disturbed people out there, very disturbed people, and it's an unfortunate situation. But of course, the liberal left is going to go crazy. Oh, we got to do something now. We look at here's what's amazing to me. So when Trump was in charge, we didn't have all this. I mean, there were still shootings and stuff like that. It still happens, but not like all of a sudden we're getting inundated with these people just going off. And this one fits their criteria perfectly. Just so you guys know, this one fits their criteria perfectly. Young white man went in, shot up a bunch of people. It's unfortunate. It's a terrible, terrible thing. And if this kid had, my question would be, here's the questions that I have, okay? What medications was this kid on? That's number one. That's what I would like to know, because they're never going to tell you what that was. They're not going to tell you what medications they were pumping into this kid, okay? Which those medications a lot of times are doing a lot of damage, thoughts of suicide, all kinds of stuff. I mean, they'll tell you, like say you're depressed or whatever, and they put you on Prozac or whatever they put you on. And they'll say, some of the side effects may be suicidal thoughts. Well, you won't be depressed anymore, will you? But the issue that I have with the left a lot of times with this type of situation, their number one answer is, we'll get rid of guns. Well, it's not good people with guns. Bad people, and I'm just going to break this down so people understand this. And yes, we'll do the egg count shortly, guys. I promise. I'm sorry. Yes, Stephen Grow was asking. Yes, we'll do the egg count in a moment. I want to make this point real quick before we start. When people that are criminals will never obey gun laws. So they don't care what the gun laws are. They don't care. They're going to do what they're going to do. They're going to get what they need to get, and they're going to continue to do these things that they do. Okay. This kid obviously should have never handed or never have been able to have access to a weapon because obviously he was very disturbed. If his own mother reported to him, and they came in and did an investigation and gave him an arrest, a mental hygiene arrest, and but what medication was he on? That would be my first question. And why wasn't, there were more supervision or red flags put up for somebody like that? That's what we need to be working on. We have a mental health issue in this country, not a gun issue. The gun issue is not the problem because I'm going to tell you what, there's millions of gun owners out there, millions of them, and their guns aren't killing anybody. All right. All you're doing when you take away the way to people to be able to protect themselves, you're giving a green light to criminals. And then criminals can go and do whatever they want. It's been proven over and over again. Look at Chicago. We'll just use Chicago as an example. One of the strictest gun laws in the country, and you have the highest gun crimes pretty much. I don't know if they're number one, but they're up in the top 5. So, again, criminals don't care. They don't care about gun laws. All you do when you enact gun laws and try to take away the way for the average citizen to protect themselves, all you're doing is helping the criminals. That's all you're doing. So, and then you end up making criminals of the people that have things that aren't going to give them back up. So that's all you're doing with that. So anyway, let's do the egg count. I apologize for not getting to that sooner. I have a tendency to get on a roll, and I apologize. So egg count. What do you guys think our egg count was today? Now, yesterday, I told you in the video yesterday, in the second video, we ended up with 7 eggs yesterday. So I'll give you guys a minute to get your guesses in, and then we will go from there. All right. A lot of you got it right on the money today. But if you have the same guess as DJ said 9 eggs. We had 9 eggs today. So we had a good day. I was very, very surprised especially because the way the weather was. But they were definitely laying today. So no complaints whatsoever. There's so anyway, so yeah, good amount of eggs. They're nice and steady. The new chicks are doing fine. The 2 intermingled groups are now all on the one side. Oh, and I got to tell you what happened today. So I go out there this morning and I do my normal routine with my chickens. And I have a lock that I don't lock that are between the door inside. So that I just always put the lock on there. So it just keeps the door shut. Well, I forgot to put that lock on there today. And when I went out later this afternoon to check on everybody, the door was open. Half the babies were in with the regular chickens, and half of them were still back on the other side. And the bigger chickens were giving them a peck here and there, So they're obviously not big enough to be in there with them yet. So, but I was like, I shoot all the little ones back where they needed to be, and got them squared away. But let's see. Ed, is the 16's thumbs down? Oh, hold on a second. I want to see what that person said. Hold on a second. Is the 16 thumbs down a new record? I've never seen it that high. 80K man said. I have no idea, man. It depends on what topic I'm talking about. If somebody's so sensitive they can't handle somebody having an opinion about something, and it hurts their feelings, that's what they'll do. They'll throw that thumbs down there. So, but yeah, it's just it's I don't even pay attention to, honestly, the thumbs down. I don't even pay attention to it. I generally, because I'll see on here what the thumbs up are because it shows it right on my thing. It doesn't show me what the thumbs down is. And it's funny because it's like, they're going to put the thumbs down. I'm going to show him. Okay, whatever, you know. They're still showing support for the channel, which I think is absolutely hilarious. And here's the best part. The algorithms doesn't delineate between thumbs up and thumbs down. It's all interaction on the channel. So all these people that do the thumbs down, you're helping the channel. So thank you. Thank you for doing that. Ukraine announced today that if they do not get into the UN, hold on a second, not get into or any backing, they will resort to using nuclear weapons. I did see that as well, JJ. Again, there's a lot of grandstanding going. Hey, Mr. Rose, there he is. Gun violence. The gun doesn't pull this trigger. Exactly. You are right. Good to see you here. Somebody was asking about you the other day. Hey, Gray Man Prepping, thank you very much for the thumbs up. And we're going to be talking, just so you guys know, too, I'm going to be joining Gray Man Prepping, and he's going to interview me. So we're gonna do a podcast together. And so I will be doing a podcast with him. We just got to talk and figure out what we're going to do. So somebody else was asking about Bizza. Again, I'll just give you another update real quickly. I had called him on Wednesday. It went right to his voicemail. I texted him the next day. I have not received a response. Somebody else said that on all social media, he has not even been on anything. So when you call and it goes right to voicemail, it means the phone is off. So I don't know what's going on with him. I hope that he's okay. And I hope that nothing bad has happened. So we're just going to have to wait and see. But so right now, I don't know what's happening with him. So just putting that out there. Really quickly, I want to talk about a couple different channels. If you guys watch My Self-Reliance with Sean James up in Canada, he just built his outhouse. So he was doing that video today. Unbelievable to watch this guy work. Very, very skilled. It's very I enjoy watching him. I think it's a great channel. He's at his new homestead, and he's starting all over again. And so I'd say good for him. He got away from, again, unfortunately, sometimes that's what, he had a neighbor that was acting like a jerk. And so he had to make the move and get out of where he was. And they were building up the area where he was at. And so he wanted to be more isolated, which I don't blame him. So he, now he's moved to this new homestead and he's starting over again. And it's pretty neat, actually. It's really, really neat to watch him go. So that's one channel. My Self-Reliance, absolutely recommend it. Tell him that Prepper Nurse 1 sent you. He has no idea who I am, which is fine. He's a huge channel, but I just like his channel. And so I will always recommend that channel. Another one would be Wranglestar. Another huge channel. Has no idea who I am. I've never talked to either one of these guys. I just like what they do. I like their approach to things. So I think they do a great job. So definitely go and show him some support. And again, you can say, hey, Prepper Nurse 1 sent me over. So, he'll be like, who? But, it's not about that. It's just that I like those channels. And if I like them, I'm definitely going to recommend them. Obviously, another one would be Bizza again, even though I don't know, he's MIA right now, so I don't know what's going on. Mr. Rose said, wife is doing well. We are looking into me donating her a kidney. That's awesome, man. That is, you only need one to live. So if it's going to make a difference and it's going to help her survive, it's awesome of you to make that sacrifice. That's a very, very tough thing to do, but I get it. So good for you, man. Good for you. Thank you very much for the donation as well. Yeah, I know Buddy wants to go out. Guys, give me 1 second. Hold on. I'll be right back. You going out? I'm not going in the bathroom to give you water right now. You freaking cat. He don't want to go out. He wants to go into the bathroom and have me give him bathroom water. He likes to drink water out of the sink. He's a nut. He's a crazy cat, so he can wait. So Another channel that I really like, obviously Marfugal News. You guys know that. Adam is an awesome guy. Another guy dealing with a lot of health issues, man. A lot of health issues. So, good people definitely go and show him some support as well. Magic Prepper out in North Dakota. Another channel, good channel out there. Definitely pay attention to him too. Doug and Stacy, they got a good channel. Definitely watch that. Southern Prepper One, I like what he's doing. Oh my God, there's so many guys. Angry Prepper, obviously down in New York City, love him. Really, really good channel. He's a New Yorker, so that's I think he's awesome. So, but also Alaskan Prepper. I mean, I can go on and on and on. There's so many channels out there. My buddy Icky Can also up in Canada. Definitely show him some support too. Do you think Harris will replace Biden in the near future? Absolutely. I've said that from day one. I've seen that since day one. I said it would be less than a year, and Biden will be out. Harris will be the president. Absolutely. See it coming. Um, he's got dementia. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The guy's already had 2 aneurysms, guys. So either he's going to have some major medical issue where he will be out and she'll be in, or whatever. It'll be something to that effect. U.S. is now being deployed to the Ukraine. Russia now up troop presence near the Ukraine border to 500,000 troops. I did see that they brought in more troops there. They're saying, of course, they're just doing maneuvers, but they're bringing in a tremendous amount. They're bringing in a tremendous amount of troops for just that type of thing and right to the border. So, yeah, absolutely crazy. Somebody's saying that Doug got hurt. He hurt his ribs. Somebody was saying. So, I had not seen that yet. So I'm sorry that he did that. That's one that is very slow to heal. Very, very slow to heal. Oh no, I don't think she would last long. No, I don't think she would last. I think she'd have a tendency to put her foot right in her mouth. So, but yeah, like I said, when it comes to the politics aspect of it, guys, they're really in the politicians, and I've said this so many times, and I'll say it again because it's just what I do. Doesn't matter if it's left, right, Democrat, Republican, Independent. They are not about us, the small people. They don't care about us. They never have cared about us. They're making money for their rich friends, their special interest groups that got them elected so they can continue to be elected. Yeah, Alaska Prepper too. Yep, sorry, I don't think I mentioned him earlier. So, I think Pence already did have the pacemaker put in. They said he's recovering. Yep, he already had it done, and they said he's recovering. So, but these politicians, it doesn't matter which side of the aisle, guys. They're all about their rich friends, what they can do and what they can get in lining their pockets. That's what it's all about. They don't care about us. So if you have some delusion that thinking putting in the left or the right president in there is going to make all the difference in the world, it doesn't. Now, I will say, that Mr. Rose, my Pillow Guy platform, you know what? Who knows what that's going to, we'll see how that does. I know that they're talking about that. There is a lot of censorship going on, a lot of censorship. Thank you very much, Mr. Rose, for the donation as well. I do appreciate that. Unfortunately, a tremendous amount of censorship is happening all over the place. And, shadow banning has happened. People having, comments disappear, subscribers taken away. It's a constant thing that you deal with. And, unfortunately, you have to deal with it. It's part of what they're doing for whatever reason. They're trying to piss people off, or they just get rid of people. So but so we'll see. Who knows? What we can focus on is what we have control over. Getting yourself distracted by everything. Pay attention. Don't get me wrong. With what's happening in Taiwan, in the Ukraine, absolutely pay attention to those things. Absolutely, you should. I heard My Pillow Guy is going to launch a store called My Store to compete with Amazon. Really? Interesting. Now we'll see how that goes. What are my thoughts on the Ukraine and Russia? I think it's definitely something that could jump off and become very, very bad. and get us drawn into it. I think that's one of the reasons why they decided not to put the two destroyers in the sea over there, because they were going to. And I know I talked about that on Wednesday. That they said no, now we're not going to send those two destroyers over there. Hopefully, cooler heads will prevail, and people will realize that it's not in the best interest of everybody to do that. So, but it's just it's a bad situation, and unfortunately, it just takes one small thing to set that fuse and to set things off. Um, you know, and that's a very very scary thing. And if there was an EMP, would you have any adverse effect with those with pacemakers? Absolutely. Any kind of okay. That's Billy, the cab driver, is asking that question. And any electronic device, if an EMP, if you were in that range of the electronic or the EMP going off, it's going to be done. So that would include, uh, you know, that would include pacemakers. So you would have a lot of people just drop dead just like that, unfortunately, because their pacemakers would stop working. So, you know, Pinball just confirmed that we've deployed to the Ukraine. I had not seen that yet, so thank you for that information. And it's Coral Tiger just said that, and I had not seen that, so I'm gonna have to look and see afterwards. I'm not gonna say yes, it's true because I don't know that it's true. I'm not saying that Pinball's not telling the truth. I'm sure he is. I'm sure he got the information from someplace, but that's not a good situation, guys. Not a good situation at all. Ed, what is your favorite news source? I really don't have a favorite news source, guys. I really don't. According to my buddy Steve, it's Facebook, but he's full of crap. So if you're watching, Steve, you're full of crap. I look at a lot of different things. I get my information from a lot of different sources. I actually have a lot of people send me a lot of information. I get that quite a bit, to be honest with you. And so for me, it's like I research things, I look things up, I try to do that. If you're watching, and this is just a great example, if you let's say you're watching nothing but Fox News, you're going to get this version of the news. And then if you're watching nothing but CNN, you're going to get this version of the news. Well, somewhere in the middle of that is the truth of things, okay? Because they're putting that news out here because they're jading it towards their audience. CNN is doing the same exact thing. So, that is, honestly, if you want to see some interesting news, look at overseas news reporting on the United States. That would be an interesting perspective because they're not doing it from an American perspective. They're not controlled necessarily by our news media, so they can look at it objectively from a different standpoint. So that is, something to pay attention to. Pinball's wife is a Russian American who gets news directly from the people near Moscow. Wow. Okay. Well, that would be, like I said, again, not a good thing. The last thing we need is war. The last thing we need is war, because I don't think the next major war would be anything like we've seen before. Not good at all. So, yeah, it's and you look at everything too with what like China's doing, encroaching on the Philippines. Doing bullying tactics in those areas in the fishing lanes and being in places they're not supposed to be in, and they're playing games with Taiwan, and and basically saying that Taiwan is ours and we're going to take it back. I mean, all these things are little powder kegs that could blow up into something major, and if they do, we're going to be in big trouble, big trouble. Lloyd Kirk said, Ed, did you see what I asked? No, Lloyd, I did not. I did not see what you asked. If you would do it again, I'll see if I can answer your question. If somebody said Sky News from Australia. Now, I do want you guys to remember, if you get your news from another source, they're given what they're told. So, remember that. The government, whatever government, wherever you're getting the news from, is, definitely jaded to what they want to put out there. Let's see. We need to keep stacking because I feel in my gut something bad is coming. That's Dawn Maria saying that. And I agree with you, Dawn. Continue to prep, continue to get ready, do everything you can to be able to protect yourself and your families, and keep getting things squared away. You know, uh, prepared for as do you use a lot of prepping books? Absolutely, I do. I have a tremendous amount of prepping books. Again, I think it's a really good thing to have. Knowledge is power, and I've said it so many times. Wouldn't it be a bad idea to invest in getting an NBC suit and gas mask? In my opinion, um, not a bad idea at all. I have gas masks already. I've had them for years. I'll be honest with you. I did. I just. I think it's an important thing that you should have. So, you know, again, there's so many unknowns, guys. You never know what's going to happen, and it's you know, things in this country are not good. When you have the news media pushing this hatred out there constantly, I'm going to tell you what I honestly think, and this is just my opinion. Again, please, just I'm giving you my opinion. I think for the most part, most people are decent people. I really do. Regardless of your background, color, race, religion, political views, whatever. I think most people are pretty decent. You can get caught up in the race issue. You can get caught up in the religious issue. You can get caught up in the political issue. And it happens. It happens all the time. Okay. But it's detrimental in the long run. It keeps us fighting amongst ourselves and not focusing on what the real problems are. That's the problem. And the real problems is the government is squeezing and squeezing and squeezing, trying to gain more and more control of every aspect of our lives, and people just don't see it. They don't see it, it blows me away. It absolutely blows me away. And here's the problem too and this is something that I really will never get. With everything that has happened in the last year in the United States alone, with weather-related events, with the pandemic and all these type of things, people still don't prep. They still don't get ready, and it absolutely amazes me. Do you have any plans for getting a freeze dryer in the future? I've been seeing lots of videos lately. I want one. I probably won't do that. I do a lot of vacuum sealing, and I do a lot of dry storage for a lot of long-term stuff that way. But yeah, no, I probably wouldn't. Those are not cheap. Those are not cheap. Any recommendations on a gas mask? Dawn Maria just asked that. You can get a military grade gas mask from the military grade. That's what I would go with. You can get cheap gas masks. They're not that expensive. I know when I bought mine, they weren't that expensive. They may be more now. Like I said, I've had my gas mask for a long, long time. But I'll tell you how long I've had my gas mask. When I bought my gas mask, I bought 3 adult gas masks and I bought 2 children's gas masks because the twins were young. Josh was like 12, and then I was, with my ex. So, now the twins are grown. So the child gas masks are not doing me any good, but I still have them. I'm sure that somebody could use them at some point. But, if we get to that point and there is some kind of nuclear event, what you need to remember, and I want to put this out here because I think this is important. You want to keep the younger people inside as long as you possibly can. As long as you possibly can. If somebody has to go outside, have somebody my age or older be the ones to go outside, because whatever exposure we would have to radiation and stuff like that, by the time it really took hold and killed us. Now, in the beginning, nobody go outside. So I'm not talking about 3 days after the explosion. Now we're going to wander outside. I would stay inside as long as you possibly can, to protect yourselves. Yeah, my nephews could use them. Yep, Bryce, absolutely. And that's actually what I was thinking. But again, if you have to go outside at some point, you send somebody older outside, because somebody older, by the time the detrimental effects of radiation happens to them, they'll probably be closer to the end of their life anyway. So that's just something to think about. you know. So in the beginning, you keep those younger people, young adults and children, you keep them inside as long as you possibly can. And when I say as long as you can, I'm talking 6 weeks, 2 months, even longer if you can. I think that would be really, really important. So just putting that out there. So like I said, I include myself in that age group to be the ones to go out there. So, you know, that's what you need. But again, um, I I read that you should stay in for at least 2 weeks before venturing out. At least, yes, at least 2 weeks. Like I said, if you can, longer. So think about that, guys. Okay, so think about that. 95% of the people in this country do not prepare for a 2 week disaster. So a nuclear attack happens, right? You're in your home, so you go down into your basement and you're like, we're going to ride the storm out. We're going to just keep a low profile, and this is what we're going to do, right? Well, you don't have 2 weeks worth of food and water. So at some point, you're going to have to leave, probably before then, because most people in this country don't even have those basic needs covered. That's scary. That's scary to me. So those of us that are prepared and are ready for those type of things, we're going to stand a better chance of surviving long term because we're ready. And that's the advantage of being prepared for whatever. Because there's nothing that says that okay, well, today's the 16th, and on the 19th, there's going to be a nuclear attack at 8 o'clock in the morning. There's nothing that says that. Nothing. So, we're not going to get any notification, not any long term notification anyway. So, again, continue to prep, continue to get ready, do what you have to do. That's my advice to everybody. So, all right. So anyway, time is blowing by here. This time always goes by so fast. So I did talk about the topic a little bit, a couple different times, just so we know. But just keep prepping. Just keep prepping, guys. That's my advice to anybody. We just need to. I don't have a basement, no. That's why I want to build a root cellar, because it would be underground and it would be a place that we could go in that type of an emergency. So I do plan on building a root cellar. That is in the plans if we have enough time. If we don't, something happens, then I guess we'll be digging that bad boy by hand. We'll go under the house and out. So, you do what you have to do realistically. So, but anyway, I'm going to ask again for a thumbs up. Let's see if we can get it up to 700. We're at 613 right now. We got 846 people in the chat. So if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I would ask you to please do that to show support for the channel. And thank you ahead of time for doing that. I do appreciate that. Again, it really does help with the algorithms. So the more interaction that we have, obviously, the better it is for the channel. So I thank you for that reason as well. It really does help with the rankings. I don't know why, it just does. They look at all that type of stuff. The algorithms do, so, definitely 90% of homes only have 2 days worth of food and less than $500 in the bank. 80K man says that doesn't surprise me. That don't surprise me at all. Not at all. So Pinball is reporting that U.S. troops are on the way to the Ukraine. Well, we'll see. Let's hope that that's not the case. I don't think that that's a good thing if it's true. I don't think that's a good thing at all. So, again, guys, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. So we're 51 away from 700. Let's see if we can hit 700 on the thumbs up. All right. So anyway, we are Legion because we are many. We're all over the world. We're all over this country. We're a huge network of people all over the place. Where is everybody from tonight? Let's do that. I keep hearing rain outside too. Where is everybody from? We have London, Indiana, Arkansas, Beech Grove, Indiana, Melbourne, Australia, North Carolina, West Virginia, Montreal, Canada, Nowhere, Oklahoma, still my favorite, BC, Canada, North Carolina, Cape Cod, Melbourne, Australia again, Central Missouri, Northeast Pennsylvania, the Adirondacks, Wisconsin, North Carolina, Nashville, Tennessee. Love Nashville too, by the way. Let's see. Grand Ole Opry is awesome. New Zealand, very cool. Amarillo, Texas, Ohio, Endicott, New York, Connecticut, Parkland, Florida, Disneyland, very nice. North Ontario, Canada, Texas, Essex Junction, Vermont, Seymour, Missouri, Wyoming, Troy, North Carolina. We have Raleigh, North Carolina. Live down there. Love that area. Minnesota, Grand Island, Nebraska, Mesa, Arizona, D.C., Newfoundland, Uh, Jersey Devil Shore, very nice. Essex Junction, Vermont again. Reno, Nevada. Western Mass, Ireland. Western North Carolina. Let's see, we have Detroit, Michigan. New Jersey. Hollywood, California. Ulster Park, New York. Brookings, Southern Oregon Coast, South Carolina. Uh, Gilbert, Arizona. New Hampshire. Northeastern Pennsylvania. We have Missouri, North Carolina, Gatlin, Pennsylvania, Oregon, North Wellington County, Ontario. Very nice. A lot of Canadians in the house. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Western Tennessee, Mason-Dixon line, Buffalo, New York, coast of North Carolina. Very nice. San Diego, California. Mira Mesa, San Diego. Very nice. Iowa, Central Pennsylvania, Hudson Valley, New York, Northern California. So Rocky Mountains in North Carolina. Roll Tide Land, which is obviously Alabama. Love Alabama. Roll Tide, baby. Southeast Iowa, Kansas, Fate, Texas. So again, guys, we're all over the country. We're all over the world. We're a huge network of people. We're a huge family. We really are. And that's what people really don't get. We are connected by a common interest, and that's to survive, to be ready for whatever's going to happen. And I think that that's really, really important. And, that brings us together. It is that one common interest that we have. We may not agree on other things, but that's one thing that we're on the same page about. And I think that that is a really, really cool thing. So anyway, I want to thank my moderators again, who keep the chat clean as they can, getting rid of anybody that's acting stupid in the chat. I appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen, that do that for me. You are absolutely awesome. So thank you very much. Also, we got Nova Scotia as well. I didn't see that one earlier. So also, I want to thank you guys for being here. You're the reason that I'm here every stream, and I appreciate all of you. You guys are absolutely awesome. Again, real quick, I want to say thank you to Lisa, who made a donation to my PayPal. I do appreciate that, and I will definitely make sure Mom has a couple of beers, Lisa, because that's what she said. Make sure to give Mom a couple of beers. So she will have a few beers. So that is awesome. I appreciate that. Remember, guys, we are all in this together. That's really important. I think a lot of people do lose sight of that. And so we need to remember that we really, truly are all in this together. Also, remember to hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. So it's really important to be able to tell the people that you care about every day how you feel. Last but not least, STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you were trying to do, whatever you were trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only one that is going to stop you from reaching those goals is you. Nobody else can stop you. Stay positive, stay away from the negativity, and you guys are going to be just fine. And lo and behold, tonight, guys, look at this. We got the whole stream in with no interruptions. Unbelievable. It's the first time in about 8 shows. So continue to prep, continue to get ready, guys. The unknown, it doesn't have to be scary if you are ready for it. As ready as you can be. Give yourselves every advantage that you possibly can. That's what I would encourage all of you to do. Okay? I will see you all later. Have a great night. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now. Oh, wait a minute. Before we jump off here, guys, hold on. Hold on. Mal, and Max, and Luce is sleeping over there. So, and of course, the dogs are all right here in a U shape. All right, guys. I'll see you all tomorrow. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.